Hi, everybody. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Sunday evening. Hope everybody's been having a nice day. I had a beautiful day with my friends sewing today. We're working on Jingle All the Way. We're learning to quilt it in the embroidery machine. So it's been very fun. It was fun today. Oh, we got a few people. Make sure you say something when you come in. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Looked like the microphone was working. Oh, we got a few people coming in. Oh, golly, let's see. I can't see anything yet. Make sure you say something when you get in here so I know you're here. I'm gonna type something. How is everyone? Sometimes if I type something, then all the other comments come up. Oh my gosh, I have to type something to get them to come up. There we go. Holy cow! Look at all these people. Jackie, Diane, Deb, everybody can hear me. Thank you. Yeah, it's like I have to type something to get anything to come up. Oh my gosh. Deb, Jackie, hi girls. How is everybody today? Yes, we can hear you. Hi, hello. Jingle All the Way. Yes, we are. So a group of us are doing some of the Kimberbell quilts. And the first one we did was Jingle All the Way. And so Jingle All the Way is actually put together, and we're in the process of learning to quilt it. So we are quilting it in the embroidery machine with the design center in our machine. And we started today, and I hadn't really worked on it, and we just kind of got together and decided we'd help each other. And all of us got some blocks done, and it's actually going to look really cool, I think. So I'm really excited about it. I'm going to work on it again a little bit tonight, I think. So hello, everybody. Oh, hi, Martha. Marcia Lorio. Oh, hi, Marcia and Pat. Hi, girls. So anyway, that's what we did today, is we worked on Jingle All the Way. And then we're working on, hi, Teresa. We're working on Hello Sunshine is the second one that we've worked on. And I got most of my blocks done now, so I'm ready to start putting it together. I'm way behind everybody else. So everybody else has theirs basically done and put together, but I haven't done it, got all mine done. And then we're going to do Broomhilda's Bakery next. That's the next one we're going to work on. And then there's a new one that came out a couple of months ago, maybe in May. It's Make Yourself at Home is what it's called. So we're going to do that one, I think, too, but not for a while. We haven't got the fabric for that one. And then, oh, cool. Thanks, Margaret. I'm glad you can hear me. Everybody can hear me okay, right? And then, let's see. And then there's a brand new one that just came out. I don't know that I'm going to do this. I'm not a cook. It's called I Whisk You a Merry Christmas. So it's all kitchen stuff. So I don't know that I'll do that one. I'm not much of a baker or kitchen person. So I don't know that I'll do that one. But they are really cute. And the embroidery is very easy. I was struggling with how to do the quilting because I didn't want you can't do an edge-to-edge design like on my long arm because there's tons of appliques. And then there's lots of like vinyl and stuff on them. So we decided we'd try it in the machine, and it's working quite well. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So I got about 6 or 8 blocks done today. It was kind of fun. So how is everybody today? My day didn't start out very well because my embroidery unit for my luminaire took a header in the parking lot at the store. So I was a little uptight for a bit until I knew if it worked okay. It must have been well enough padded. So the embroidery unit is working. That will be the last time I take the machine out of the house in that bag. I absolutely despise the bag that they came in. So it will not roll. And I don't think they're making that bag anymore, so I don't have to worry about other people. People are saying little. Nobody's saying much. Everybody's just saying hello. I'm rambling on about my day today. Okay, well, we got about 15 people. Let's wait just a couple minutes. I had a bunch of people sign up for this, so we may have some people join us later. But we're going to do this little in the hoop zipper bag. And what prompted me doing this is I had done these, oh golly, probably 10 years ago. And they're the cutest little design. And I needed I'll hold this up for you. I needed a little bag to put my earbud in. I got a new, for my cell phone, one of those little earbuds, you know, that you put in your ear so you can talk on the phone. And my dad cannot hear me on the speakerphone. So I got one of these. And I needed something to put it in the car and hang it up on something so that I wouldn't lose it. So that's why I wanted to do this little bag. Isn't this cute? And I made, oh yes, I think the Cubs won today. Didn't somebody say the Cubs won? So anyway, I have a little Cubs one that I made for myself to hang in my car. And I have my little earbud in there. This will go back in my car now, so you have seen it. And then I made a couple of other ones. Here's a little patriotic one. Did that one, and then it's got a lining too. So this one's got like little stars in it. And you put the zipper in the embroidery machine. And then this one was just kind of a fun little goofy one with all the little colors on it. And I think this one had green polka dots on the inside as the lining. Okay, so these are really, really simple and fun. They are a 5-star fonts design, and it's free on their website. Which Kimberbell was easiest to sew? Actually, Jingle All the Way was quite easy, Jackie. When it came to the quilts, they're actually very similar. So Jingle, we started with Jingle because that was the first one, and we were wanting to do a Christmas quilt, so that's what we started with. And it actually, the second one then is going very easily once you've done that one. So anyway, these little cases are so much fun, and you put the zippers in the hoop, and they're very easy. I did change the directions just a little bit because I do a few things differently. And also the original pattern that I got from 5-Star Fonts 10 years ago, I had that, and I started to use that. And I thought, you know, I better check to make sure that I can get that the download works okay and everything. So I went and downloaded it for the second time, and she updated this design about a year or two later, and it actually is fully lined now, because the original design, when you opened it up like along here, I don't know if you can see it, this is all fully lined, and the original design had a little zigzag stitch that then you just cut it off with scissors, so it was raw in here. So she actually redid the design so that's all fully lined. So I'm like, yay, so I got the new design too. You do have to go to and I posted it in the group, you have to go to the 5-Star Fonts website, and it's a free design. You just have to, like, you know, put it in your cart and then check out and put your name in and everything, but it is free. You don't have to pay for it. So anyway, we're going to make these tonight. They're so much fun. All right, so let me get the camera turned around here. Are there any questions so far? And I will talk about the sizes of the fabrics and everything. So, okay. Let me get turned around here. Get the camera down here where you can see it. And this is here's my instructions. So we'll talk a little bit about the pieces. You have to do a little bit of cutting. So you're going to cut a couple pieces of batting. I just used some scraps that I had. Those are, the batting is 2.5 inches wide and 5 inches long. And then you have to cut 3 pieces for the outside of the bag. So like 3 pieces that are 5 inches by 5 inches. So they're 5-inch squares. There's 3 pieces here. And 2 of them I folded in half and ironed down. So these are gonna be the front of the bag. So it's like self-lining. So there's the front and then the front part of the lining. So it's like a self-lining piece. And then the third piece, this is the back. So I'm gonna make another Cubs one for my dad. I thought he might get a kick out of putting something in it. And so the back is also 5 inches. There's 3 5-inch squares. 2 of them you iron in half and crease them nice with your iron, because those are going to be the fronts. And then there's a lining, and the lining is also a 5-inch square. Okay. And then you need let's get some of these off of here so we can move here. Then you also need a zipper, and it needs to be, I think they said at least 7 inches long. I think this was a 7 or 9-inch zipper. And you want to make sure that it's a plastic zipper. Don't use any metal ones. Oh, hi, Judy. Hi, Mary. Oh, hi, Clara. So this is I think it was a 7-inch zipper. So they don't have to be really super long, but they need to be at least that. Okay. And then you also need a piece of ribbon, a little piece of ribbon. This is 2.5 inches. And I think I had 3/8-inch ribbon. You can kind of use whatever you want. And then you need one of these little keychain rings. Or you can use those other little, I think I've got one here. I couldn't find the right size ribbon, so I ended up using the keychain rings. But you can use these little hooks too, these little swivel hooks. These work good. But I just didn't have the right size ribbon for them, so I'm just going to use the little round thing instead, the little keychain ring instead. Okay? We're going to do that. All right. And then we also are going to need a glue stick. So this is where I changed some of the instructions. So I'll tell you. Hi, Kathy. So I'll tell you where hi, Cindy. So I'll tell you where I changed my instructions a little bit. So you can do whatever you want, but what she recommended was using matching embroidery thread in the needle and the bobbin. So I actually did wind my embroidery thread. So I have my red thread. I'm going to use red on this. In the bobbin also, because then it shows through on the back, like on the lining and stuff, and you can see it. So it's nice to have it matching. You don't have to. You can just use bobbin thread if you want. The one thing about bobbin thread is it's not quite as strong. So if you use the matching thread in the bobbin as well, then it's a little bit stronger. So embroidery thread's really strong, so that's what I decided to do. All right, so that's all on the first page of the instructions. You need to use tearaway stabilizer in your hoop. So this is the dime light tearaway. It tears away really nice and clean. And then the Floriani medium tearaway would work too, if that's what you have. So I've kind of switched over to this dime stabilizer. I really kind of like it, and it tears really clean. So when you're cleanly, I think it should be cleanly. So when you go to take this out, it's a lot easier to get it off. Okay, so I've got that, and this is a 4x4 design, so you don't need a very big hoop. And I've got that in my 4x4. So we're going to put this in the machine now. I'm going to turn my page here. She had really, really good directions. I remember even all those years ago when I did this, I hadn't done too many in the hoop designs, and I found the directions very, very complete, and there was really good pictures. So it was very helpful for me as a new embroiderer at that time. So, okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the design up here. Let's get that. I'll show you on this machine. We're going to bring the design up. Give me a second here. It's an embroidery. Now my machine has the little pocket. The rest of you will probably have a USB, and mine's on a USB stick. The Luminaires and the Solarises have this new little pocket. So I remember the first day I used this machine, I'm like, where the heck is the memory stick? So it's under the pocket now. They're trying to hide it. It's right here. And then I'm going to go to my 5-star fonts. I have that, and then here's my little design. So we're going to pick this one, and I'm going to set it. Here's all the steps over here. It's not too many steps. We're going to hit embroidery, and I think we're ready to go. All right, so we got that all done. I'm going to come back over here so you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so let's get a little closer to the hoop so you can kind of see. All right, so it says in the instructions, the first thing is to hoop the tearaway stabilizer in the hoop. And then the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sew out step number 1. And what that is the placement lines for the zipper. So we're going to go ahead and put our foot down. I've got the matching embroidery thread in the bobbin, and we're going to sew out the first step. Whoops, maybe I should move my instructions out of the way. I'll put them out here so they won't get hit by the hoop. It's going to give me some place so I know where to put the zipper. So the first thing, and everybody always panics when they see zippers and things. Okay, so the zipper is actually really super easy. And don't be afraid, there's a couple different things you can do with the zipper. But this is my favorite thing, and this is one thing that I did change in the pattern. I'm not a big taper. This is the paper tape. Kimberbell has paper tape, and also, oh, hi Barb, hi Amanda. Kimberbell has paper tape, but you know what? I found it at the dollar store in the, like where the Band-Aids are, and it works really well. So it's pretty sticky, and then it comes off. It doesn't leave a residue. So I've been using some of this, but I'm not a super big taper. We will use this tonight for a little bit. But what I do when I want to put my zippers in, I don't want them to move around on me. So what I'm going to do is we're going to leave the zipper closed. So leave the whole thing closed. And in here is where the zipper is going to go. I'm going to take my fabric glue stick right here, and I'm going to put glue stick in between these two lines. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to put some glue stick in there, and I'm a little bit liberal with it because of the zipper. This zipper is a little bit scoochy, so. And then I'm going to kind of center it in the hoop so that it's about equal distance up and down. And I'm just going to glue stick mine down. Now, if you're worried about it moving, just go ahead and put a piece of tape up here and a piece of tape at the bottom. But the glue really holds it in place, because if I use tape, I found that sometimes it'll want to like squiggle around in here on me. And so I like to use the glue because then it's really stuck down to the paper. Let's see what else the instructions said. Tape the zipper on both top and bottom, and you can do that if you'd like. And this is showing the pins. Or let's see, the hoop could look like this. And she doesn't use the pins in the design. She's just pointing out where she put the tape. But I used a glue stick, and you can see that mine's actually really stuck down there pretty well. I did put a little glue stick up here and up here too. All right, but I do like that. Seems to work better for me than the. Oh, hi, Lynn. All right, so the second step then, it says run color 2, which tacks the zipper to the stabilizer. So we want this to be, we want this to be stuck down to the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and lower my foot. Now the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to kind of hold my zipper. I'm going to, kind of keep my hands free of the needle, but around the zipper so I can see that it's sewing well and it's staying straight. Now the one thing that she did say, and this is very important, this machine here, as you can see, just clipped that jump clip. And from one side to the other, I did a couple of these on my old machine, and my old machine does not have a jump clipper. If you do not have a jump clipper on your machine, she put in on the bottom of page 2, she said, very important, if your machine doesn't cut jump clips, be sure to clip the jump stitch on the bottom of the design, because there would have been one like right here. Make sure you clip that, because when you go to work with it and in a later stage, that jump clip will get in your way. So make sure you clip that. Okay, so if you have a jump clipper, you don't have to worry about it, but if you don't, make sure you clip this. So on my old machine, I don't have one, and I had to clip this right across. It was right across over here. Okay. All right, so we're going to turn the page. Now it's time to add the 2 pieces for the front of the case. This photo shows the 2 5x5 squares. So remember, we had 3 of those 5x5s, and I folded 2 of these in half. I ironed 2 of them in half. And then this is the folded edge. So the folded edge is going to go inside against the zipper. We want to put the batting inside of these. So I'm going to grab my 2 little pieces of batting. And open these up. Now, my fabric, as you can see, is directional. So watch your fabric when you go to do this, that if it's directional, like I want my cubs to be both going the same direction, so it's one of them is not upside down. All right, so we're going to open this up. And I'm going to put this batting right up to that fold line, like that, and then I'm going to close it over it. And just make sure that it closes nice and smooth, because that's going to be, that folded edge is going to be against the zipper on both sides. So we'll lay this one over here. Let's do this one. Put this one in. And I'm trying to read the directions as I go, because if I get too excited and I do this, I always make a mistake on these zipper bags. And I'll show you the mistake that I make very regularly on these kind of bags. You will all laugh at me. But I'm going to be very careful and read the directions tonight. Okay. And it is good to have this creased with the iron right here. And I did that earlier. You didn't need to watch me iron. I'm sure you all can do that. And this is going to go against the zipper teeth right here. Okay. But what she does, again, is she tapes. And this is one of the places I've always had trouble with when I'm putting on fabrics against the zipper, that if you tape it, it wants to go like this on me. It wants to get wavy. But if you use the glue stick here, everything is going to stick right down to this zipper tape. So I'm going to take my glue stick. I have to pull the hoop out just a little bit to get to it better, so I can tip it. There we go. And I'm going to run my glue stick right up against the teeth. I'm not going to try not to get glue on the teeth. And then I'm going to take my piece with the folded edge. This is the folded edge right here, up to the teeth on the zipper. And you want to make sure you get it on there straight. And you want it about equal distance from, side to side this way. Or I should say up and down. This would be up and down. So we're going to stick it down real well so that it's not going to go anywhere. Then let's do the other side. We're going to do the other side. Same way. Tip it this way. I'm going to run my glue stick along the zipper there. I've never had good luck with tape and zippers when it came to this, because I never ever get a straight seam along my zipper if I don't glue it down. The glue has always worked well for me. And if you still want to put a little tape at the top and the bottom, you can do that. But I'm going to press it down. Make sure it's even. Okay. So there I have my two fronts with the batting in them, with the folded edge against the zipper. You don't want it to be over the zipper. You want it to be right up to the edge of the teeth, because that way it'll open easily. Okay. Oh, hi, Denise. Then we're going to go ahead. It says the step number 6 is this is the close-up, so you can see the creased edges of the front zippers. So you can see these are the creased edges. She made a nice little close-up there. All right, so I can't get any closer, but I think you can see what I've done. So let's put this back in the machine. I'm going to get my glue stick out of the way. Put this back in the machine. Turn the page, just a second here. And then it says to run color number 3, which stitches the zipper in place. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And now I am going to kind of watch this, that it's not scooching around on me. So I am going to kind of hold it, because remember, there is a flap on the top. So I just want to kind of hold it in place, that it doesn't scooch on me. But that tape or that glue really does a good job of holding it in place for me. So it's going to sew this down to the zipper. Now again, this machine has a jump clipper. So see, it's going to clip the jump and it's going to move over to the other side. If you do not have a jump clipper on your machine, you need to clip that jump clip that goes across down there. I had to do that on my old machine. But see how nice and straight those look? And it didn't move around because I had it glued down. Okay, that was step number 3 on your machine. Step number 4, there's some cute little, I don't know if you can see it. Look where here it is. This is the one we're doing. So the step number 4 is this little decorative stitch, right? This little curly one on both sides. So we're going to do that next. So we don't have to do anything else. We just have to sew out that little decorative stitch. And I'm going to kind of just make sure that nothing moves. I'm just going to let it get started. I think it was fine though. I do have some my batting is a little poofy. I use Hobbs and it's 80/20, so it's a little bit fluffier than cotton batting is. So, and then it does go across at the bottom of the zipper. All right, so there's the decorative stitch on the top. Now, step number 8 on page 4. This is where Jan and I was going to ask everybody to help me to make sure that I read the directions. It says this is a very important step, and they are not kidding. So I have had this problem every time I've ever done one of these kind of projects. I forget to unzip the zipper. So it's very, very important to unzip the zipper because, you know, the zipper pull is up here right now, right? And when we cut this off, we don't want to cut off the zipper pull. So ask Jan how she knows that, because I've done it lots of times. So it says the zipper pull tab is currently at the top of the hoop, outside of the design area. It is now time to move the zipper pull inside the design, pulling it to the center of the design. The scissors show that the pull is now in the middle. So I'm going to take this pull up here. So is everybody laughing at me right now about the zippers? Because, I mean, I do it all the time. I don't know how many of these I've made and I've forgotten. So I have now got my zipper. Here it is. But I have noticed when I've done this design, you know, this is a very small hoop. And at the end of the design, the machine kind of like always goes back to the center. So I like to pull the zipper down just a little past the center and flip the tab down, because otherwise it catches on it when it goes to do the last little gyration at the very end. So I usually pull it down a little past the center and flip the tab down so it doesn't get caught. Okay, so now our hoop looks like step number 8. We've pulled the zipper down and this part of the zipper is open up here. Okay, now it's time to add the optional ribbon, loop, and hardware. If you don't want a ribbon loop, you can skip it. But I wanted to have a little keychain loop so I could hang it in my car. So I'm going to go get my ribbon. And I do use some tape here, but I'm also going to use some glue stick. So what I like to do is take my ribbon and, whoops, I got to get my glue stick again. I like to take my glue stick, put a little glue stick on my ribbon, and then I'm going to lay my ring on the ribbon, and I'm going to glue those two ends together. So it gives me something to hang on to that's in one piece. So I've got them glued together in the center, and I've got my ring on it. Okay. Then it says, she used 3/4 inch ribbon. I didn't have any. That's why I'm using these smaller ribbons. So you can use whichever size you want. She used a D-ring with the little swivel hook on it. I didn't have too many of those. I got some afterwards, but this works really great. Slip the ribbon on the hardware and fold the ribbon in half, wrong sides together. Place the raw edges of the ribbon about 1/2 inch outside the design area as shown by the scissors. Be sure the ribbon is centered over the zipper as shown. Tape the ribbon and the hardware down so it doesn't shift. So I did glue stick this also. So you want the ribbon to go over the zipper right here, and you want this is the sewing area she's talking about. Like at the top, you can see where the decorative stitches, and it's sewed right here. So that gives you an idea where the top of your design is. So we need it to go about 1/2 inch above that. But remember that your foot is going to be going across the top of this right here. And I don't want to get this too close to that foot, my ring, because my foot has to pass along that line again. So I was a little careful that I didn't get it too close at the top. So I kind of looked at my foot where the ribbon was. So we're going to put some glue stick on this. I'm going to pull this down so you can see it. I put a little glue stick up here on the zipper, kind of in the middle. That's all going to be cut off so you won't see it if it shows a little bit. And I'm going to stick this ribbon. Whoops, looks like my ribbon came apart. Let's give it another shot here. Sorry about that. And then we're going to stick this one down, being careful not to make it too close for our foot. Let's check the foot here. I think we're good. And because we don't want that foot to hit the ring. And then I am going to take some tape, and I like to tape these ribbons in place because sometimes they scooch on me. So I am going to put a little piece of that paper tape up here above the seam and just hold everything down with a piece of tape too. But I did glue it also. Okay, like that. Okay, so we got the zipper open. Everybody remember me about the zip. Remind me about the zipper. And I did tape those ribbon tails down. All right, so I'm going to turn the page to page 5. And it says place the 5x5 back fabric in the hoop right side down. So we're going to put the right sides together. And then be sure the fabric is centered and completely covers design, tape in place. Guess what? I didn't really tape it in place. I just kind of held it. Your hoop should look like this in the photo. So this is my back. The polka dots were my lining. Might have a question here in a second. I need to see if I got some questions. Oh, hi, Kathy. All right. So, but I want to make sure that, again, this is directional. So I got to make sure that the cubs are right side up. So we're going to, this is the top. So we're going to put this on like this. This one will go on, this piece here will go on later. So we're going to put the back on first and cover everything like that. And it's, again, they're right sides together. Okay, then it says run color number 5 on the machine, which stitches the back fabric to the front. So I'm just going to make sure that that ring didn't pop up on me. I can feel it, and the foot has to go past it. And then I'm going to put my foot down, and we're going to do step. And I'm not going to tape this. It's big enough that it really is going to be fine. I do kind of hold it in place, let it get started. Just watch your fingers. It's going to go across the bottom. Up the other side. I think it goes around twice. Is that maybe not twice now? Did it? Oh yeah, it does. Because this it started around the second time, but I think it goes around there again because we're going to put the lining in next. Okay. Well, hi, Linda. Okay. Now we're on step number 12. So we got the back. This is the backing. Step number 12, turn hoop over. So you are looking at the back of the hoop. So our lining is going to go on the underneath side. So we're going to take our hoop out and lay this upside down. Now the one thing I did do here is there were a lot of these little tails. And they were kind of long and stuff, so I just kind of clipped these all and got these kind of neatened up on the back. Because once we put that fabric on there, it's harder to do. So I just kind of neatened my back up a little bit. Some of these will be cut off, but I noticed that they kind of showed on my first one, so I clipped these little tails. Some of the machines leave different size tails, and mine's kind of long, so when I have a lot of little knots, I notice I get these long tails. So we'll kind of clean these up a little bit. Oops, got it stuck to my thumb. That looks better. Okay, oops. There we go. Get those kind of neatened up a little. So it says to place the 5x5 lining fabric on the back of the hoop right side down. So again, right sides together. So we're going to put the right side down. And what I do with this then is, again, I use glue stick. I'm not a big taper. I don't like to, especially on the back. I do not like to put tape on the back because it forever comes off. Every time I do it, where's your lint roller to clean up those? I just blow them and then I have to clean them up later, Lynn. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. Yeah, I need to get me one of those little teeny ones because they work really well. Okay, so I'm just going to take my glue stick and I'm just going to go around the outside edge where that 5-inch piece is going to go, and I'm going to lay it, and it said right side down along the edge. Make sure you kind of got it. You can see the other piece underneath when you're working with it, so you know you've got it in the right spot. And I'm going to make sure that it's put down, and then I'm going to turn this over. This is my little trick. I'm going to turn this over, lay it flat on my machine, and just give it a little push to make sure that it won't pop up on me. Okay. I always check it before I put it on the machine. It was right side down on the back. Turn the hoop to the front and place the hoop in the machine. And then what I always do, this is my little trick, I always take a little peek underneath, because then I don't get I call them flipper-doos. Because, you know, you inevitably get a little flipper-do under there if you don't look. Okay? And it was also right side together, which is what we want. Okay, so we're going to turn the page to page number 6. Aren't her instructions nice? She does a lot of pictures. I've always liked her instructions. Oh, I think we missed one though. Just a second. Step number 12, turn the hoop back. Okay, where does she tell you to run the last one? Oh, run number 6. It's at the bottom of page, step 12, sorry. So the last step is step number 6. And it's going to sew most of the way around, but not all the way around, because it's going to leave an opening so we can turn it. Okay, so we'll do this. We got it all on there. And it's going to go, it's going to leave an opening so that we can turn it. And it did kind of a little triple stitch. And I just used a number 11 embroidery needle. I don't usually have too much trouble going over the zippers, so you can use a little bit bigger one if you're worried about the zipper. It's kind of like nice little rounded corners so that the corners are easier to turn. And remember, our zipper pull is right here. Okay, so it's going to stop. It left an opening about this long on the right-hand side of the hoop. Okay. So hold a second here. I got to get some scissors out of my drawer. Unhoop the design. This is on the top of page 6. Unhoop the design and carefully remove the stabilizer around the design. So this is the one step that I always forget. So let me show you why this is. It works better if you do this. So I'm going to take it out of the hoop. And I was having trouble with this earlier when I did a couple of these. I forgot to do this. The stabilizer will easily pull away from the seam along the outside edge. So we're just going to pull this off. Let me take this tape off here just a second. And we're going to pull the stabilizer out of here, and it easily rips along that seam where it's sewed all the way around the outside edge. Take this off. And I forgot to do this on one of them, and then I was like, why didn't it open? But I forgot to get the paper out of there. So let's do this. Pull it out. Okay, so I think we got it all out of there. Check your seams. You can kind of pull it open so you can see. You got it. Yep, looks like I got it. Okay. And then it says, be sure you have your case turned over so you're looking at the line side. So I'm going to look at the lining side. Okay. And you've got all that paper out of there. Now, what we need to do is we need to trim this so it's about 1/4 inch. However, on step number 14, you want to come out and leave a little bit extra seam allowance right here, because this is where we're going to turn it, and it'll make it easier to get the turn and also to get it to get it sealed. Okay, so we're going to come out, so we're going to cut about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and then we're going to, when we get to these little spots right here, we're going to go out like this. Okay, so I'm going to just use my scissors to do that. I got my shears out, those are easier, so I'm going to cut. So it says, yeah, 1/4 of an inch around, so let's just do these first, and you cut the zipper off. So we're going to leave about 1/4 of an inch all the way around here. Hopefully you can see me cutting. Okay, we'll do about 1/4 inch on this side. Put these out of the way. Jan's not a very good cutter, is she? I'm kind of crooked. Do this side. And then I'm going to do this side. So, but when I get to here, I'm going to stop where that opening is, right there. Okay, and then I'm going to cut out. I'm going to cut this little square out on the corner, like that. And we'll probably make that a little bit smaller, but let's get the squares out first, okay, like that. And then we'll do this side, just cut in here, like that. And then we'll cut that little square out. And I think she said about 1/2 inch or so. Yeah, about 1/2 inch. That's kind of big, so we'll go ahead and trim this down just a little bit, about like that. Okay. So there is our bag. We're getting ready to turn it now. Hi, Marilyn. Okay, so now it says, reach inside the opening, turn area, and grasp the lining. So basically, we're going to be working on the lining first, and then and it says side and gently pull it through the opening. Be gentle and don't rip the seams. It will come through easily if you grasp the unlined piece of lining fabric. Once you have turned it inside out, use your favorite poking tool to poke out the 4 corners. I've got my favorite little poking tool. I like my Floriani point turner. These little metal point turners, they have a little ball end on them, so they're not sharp, and then they don't go through the ends of your little bags or whatever you're working on. So we're going to grab a hold of the lining side here, right? And then we're going to pull this through. So we're just doing the lining part now. So we're pulling it through the lining. I just thought it was so cool because when she first did this, it was not lined, and I was so surprised when the design was different. Okay, so we're going to poke this out. Get my little tool. We'll poke out the corner. These are kind of rounded corners, so they poke out really nicely. They're not very bulky. Oops, haven't got this one well enough yet, so let's try this. Get it out like this. This one done. This one. Got one more to get done here. I don't think I've got it pulled out far enough yet. There we go. Like that. Okay, so there's my little bag, and that's the lining side. Okay, we got it all turned. Now what does it say? Your design should look like this photo. Notice the scissors are pointing to the turn. So this is the little part that we turn through right here. Okay, so I'm going to turn the page again. Now it says turn the design over, so you're looking at the zipper side. Gently tear away all the stabilizer from the inside of the design. If you find any strings, just clip them at the edges. So remember, there was some of these little knots. So you can pull all this paper away, and this tears very easily. So it's good, and it tears away very cleanly. But I did have to use my scissors a little bit to get a hold of this edges. So just to get these to start for me, I usually use my little scissors. Okay, and then when you get down here, like some of those placement lines are going to be stuck in the seam. So just take your scissors and just trim that little seam, that little string off. Because remember, we had some placement lines that are not actually in the design, but we needed them to get the zipper and stuff on. Okay, let's get this. Okay. Oh, there's another one of those little strings, so let's pull that off. Right here. So is anybody sewing along with me tonight? Okay, and get this one over the zipper. This is the one off over the zipper, so we get that one off. Okay. Still got a couple little strings, so I might kind of trim those little strings off. A couple little strings on the zipper. That looks pretty good. Okay. So there's the side with the zipper, and that's all the papers off of it now. All right. Now this is where I got a little confused, so we'll make sure we go through this carefully, and so you can see it on the camera. It says, these are the threads from the placement stitches. That was the ones that I was trimming, the ones with the placement stitches. Then it says, then lift up the top fabric extension and carefully cut away the batting. So I'm going to go in here. So like this is the top, you know, this is like the lining, and then we're going to go in here. So we have all these pieces of fabric in here, and we're going to go in here and we're going to trim off this piece of batting. So what I did is I folded these little flippers down, and I just have the batting, and I'm going to try to trim the batting close as I can. So we're going to get, and don't want to cut through your fabric, just try to get your batting cut off and get that bulky batting out of there, okay? So I just cut the batting off, and I had flipped all the other fabric pieces down just to get them out of the way. Your design should look like the photo, so that's what we did. Now, still working on the fabric extension, hold the top and bottom extensions out of the way and carefully cut the two fabric extensions away at the seam line. So there's one on the outside on each side. So there should be a lining piece and a blue piece on mine. Then there's these other two pieces that are in the way here, okay? We're going to cut these off. So just make sure you have the pieces down you want. Flip down, and then we're going to cut these two pieces off in the middle. Like this, to get this bulk out of here. I'm going to get them as close as I can. There we go. And I still have my flap on my lining and the flap on the top, right here. Just cut the two that are between the top and bottom. So you don't want to cut the top and the bottom one. One of the ones I got, I cut the wrong one. So this works much better if you cut the correct one. Looks like I still have a placement line here, so let's get that out of the way there. There we go. Then we're going to turn the design over so you're looking at the lining side again. And you're going to turn, whoops, we're going to do it this way. Sorry, I made a mistake. We are going to, she's going to look at the lining. So what she does in here is she uses Heat and Bond Ultra. And what I used on mine, you can do the opening two different ways. You can turn your opening in like this, the lining piece and this piece, okay? Because we want to cover up that seam like that. You can turn those two pieces in, and then you can just whip stitch this little hole shut. All right, so one of them I did like that. The one that I trimmed wrong, I just cut it, or after I trimmed it, I just went ahead and sewed it shut. But what I did with most of mine, she uses Heat and Bond Ultra, but then you got to cut it up. So what I have is this, Lynn, thank you for showing me this stuff. I love this stuff. This is Steam a Seam 2, and it's two-sided adhesive, and it is 1/4 of an inch long or wide. So what I do is I take a piece of this. I'm just going to explain this because I think you can understand the ironing part. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to adhere it. There's like a little adhesive on this stuff. Let's see how long I need it to be. We'll cut a little piece about the right length here. Cut that off. And then I'm going to put that inside on my flap in here, in between the two pieces. There's a piece of paper on one side and it's kind of tacky on the other. And then I'm going to take it over to the iron and I'm going to iron that on. I'm going to let it cool off and then pull the paper off. Then I'm going to get my lining oriented the way I want it. And then I will iron it again, and it's going to close that up without having to do the sewing. Or you can hand stitch it, whichever you want. So I'm going to do that, but I just didn't do the ironing for you tonight. I didn't have my iron ready tonight. Okay? And then, I'll just leave that in there right now. Let me stick it on there really good. Then at the very end, you're going to reach in here and pull that zipper pull down a little bit more. Can't get a hold of it. Just a second. There we go. After you've finished your little hole, we'll do that. I'll do mine later. And then you're going to pull this through the zipper like that. I like the little steam a seam trick that Lynn taught us. And then we don't have to sew. And then I'm going to use my little tool to poke the corners out so they're nice and beautiful. Oops, I lost my little piece of steam a seam. I'll do it later. Okay. The little holes out. There we go. And then there's my little hook, my little keychain ring. And then you want to take this to your iron then and just give it a nice press so that it's nice and flat. And then all the seams will flatten out really nicely. Okay, so I'll go ahead and I'll finish my little hole later. But that steam a seam too is great. This is 1/4 of an inch. I think you might be able to get it a little wider too, but it's all cut for you, so you don't have to cut it up. The Heat and Bond Ultra would work too, but you got to cut it into pieces. So this is already cut for you, and all you have to do is cut off the length you want. Okay, so there is our little bag. Isn't that cool? And they're so easy to do. And you just, then you, again, like I said, just go ahead and do an iron at the end to make it nice and flat. And I made tons of these, but they hold like all the little teeny stuff that you need. Like you need like the cords for your phone, and you need like my little earbud. I needed a little place for that. Or the like earbuds for your, like your iPad or your phone. And the kids always have earbuds in all the time. So wouldn't that be a good little bag? And then you could make it in their favorite fabrics, their favorite baseball team, whatever you want to do. Okay. So does that make sense to everybody? It's a fun little project, and see how fast they go. There's only 6 steps to it. It takes me longer to cut them out than it does to embroider them. So, okay, is there any questions? Everybody's very quiet tonight. Wasn't that a fun project? I love that. I'll finish up my little lining hole here in a little while. Okay, so next week is August 2nd, correct? Yeah, August 2nd. I don't have my phone. We will not have Sew Along with Jan on August 2nd because we are going to be having a software class on August 6th, which is the following Tuesday. Yes, so there will be no, it's not August 2nd, it's August 4th. Is that right? August 4th. You look at the calendar. I'm having difficulties with dates today. Look at this. Oh yeah, make sure everybody makes their little bags and puts them up on the group, because I'd love to see them. Okay, so yes, so I'm sorry, Serger Club, there's a second Serger Club in Iowa City on the 2nd. I got the date. So we will not have Sew Along with Jan next Sunday, which is August 4th. There we go. We'll get the date right yet. Because on August 6th, Tuesday evening, we're going to be having sessions on software with Jan. We're going to be doing an intro to PE design class. So we won't have Sew Along with Jan on Sunday next week. We'll have a week off. Okay. Then the following week, which is the 11th, we are going to be doing little quilt block keychains. So we're going to make keychains. These are so much fun to do. I digitized these a long time ago, and I did 13 of them. So there's a baker's dozen, 13 different little blocks. And you can put a keychain on them. And what I like to do is I don't put my keys on them. I did actually have my keys on one for a long, long time. I like to put them on like my bags, my tote bags, my sewing machine bags, just so that I can see that it's mine. I usually have my name on them, but these are fun because then it just very visually I can tell it's mine. So there's a whole bunch of these little ones. I think there's 13 different ones. Okay, these are one of my designs. These are, it's $10. You get all 13. So if anybody would like to do this, I'll put this up on the group later tonight. But you can order the design. I can send you a PayPal invoice, and it's $10, and you can get 13 of these little keychains to do. You can put different kinds of keychains on them. You don't have to put these kind. These work really well if you're putting them on your sewing machine bags and stuff. Okay, so this is what we're going to do then on August 11th. So I'll put this up as the event, and then I'll show you, and these are my designs, so you can get the designs from me. And so we'll make one or two of these in the class. These are very fun. I do use Tacks. These are that real stiff stuff that I use. And you can get that. I have to go check with Floriani if they still have the really stiff kind of stabilizer. Otherwise, you can get it at Joann's and use Wonder Under to put your fabric onto it. So I'll get you a little more information about that too on the website because we have a couple weeks. And I'll put all the information up there for you so you can order them too. Okay? So that's what we're going to do on the 11th. And then everybody knows what we're going to do for the software class then on the 6th. Okay? So that's the next couple things coming up. I'll get all that information up on the website for you. So is there any other questions? And hopefully I'll have my my Kimberbell quilt quilted for you so you can see it pretty soon. I'm not quite finished with it, so we'll work with that. Yes, Denise, it was when we did starting over. Yes, so the starting over group though got one that is not in this group. This group of keychains has 13 more, and I did a 14th one for the starting over people, got a special one. So that one is not in this group. So, okay. So I'll put all that information up there for you. It'll probably be later tonight or tomorrow. I have to go see my dad tomorrow, and I'll probably do it tomorrow. And then you'll know what you need to do. So, okay. So I think we're done. It's about 7 o'clock. I figured we could do this in an hour. And I can't wait to see your little bags. So make sure you put your zipper bags, your pictures of your zipper bags up for me, because I'd love to see them and what you're using them for. Because they're so useful. You know, there's so many different things you can put in them. So let me know what you're planning to use them for as well. Oh, you think we should have a special one for this group too, huh? Well, we could do that. I have a couple of other special things that I'm going to do for this group. Actually, the next class will be a special thing for this group. So, but it won't be a keychain. It's going to be something different. I've got something planned. So, and it'll be the following week. What, the 11th, the 18th, something like that. Yep. Where are the instructions written? Oh, for what, Jackie? Can you tell me? Can you personal message me what instructions were you speaking of? These, or of the what we did today? If you could personal message me that. Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.